on Driving.ca, we are back doing Hellcat stuff. Well, it's been a good run, but the Dodge Challenger is finally on its way out. And in true Mopar fashion, it's going out with a bang. Today, we are out in the 2022 Dodge SRT Challenger Hellcat Redeye Widebody Jailbreak. The last of the breed, and one of the mightiest. The Challenger was first introduced as a concept back in 2006. I was in the 6th grade at that time, and I remember thinking it was the coolest thing on the cover of Auto Week. Now, 16 years later, I'm driving one, and it's so much better than it could have been at the time. Now in this jailbreak, guys, all bets are off, and the Challenger is your oyster. For only about $1,300, Dodge is now letting people just sort of pick what they want. Why not? Just do it. You want pink and green? That's on you. But more important than that is that it just makes so much power. So much power. Oh my goodness. Muscle enthusiasts are sure to have warm memories of the Dodge Demon and all the excitement there was when that thing debuted with 808 horsepower. That thing's been replaced by another Halo, the Superstock. But really, for all intents and purposes, this car that we're driving today is the Halo. Just 1 horsepower shy of that hellion. This Jailbreak is, in many people's minds, what it means to be the big Challenger. This is the car that you're gonna see on the road. This is the car you're gonna see doing stupid things from red lights. This is the car that's gonna spin out into some cornfields. And it's a car that's gonna bring so many grins to so many people. Get this thing moving, and it screams in a way that very few cars can. It's a strange experience. It's overwhelming. This isn't like a Ferrari where you can just roll around in cliches of symphonies of leather and aromas. No, this thing just makes noises, it makes other noises, and it makes even more noises. First, you get the induction noise. This massive 6.2 liter V8 draws in a lot of air. Sucking through that big conical air filter, you hear every gasp. As you start to get up in the revs, you hear the second noise, the whinny of that supercharger. One of the biggest units ever fitted to a vehicle from factory, and genuinely one of the most intoxicating devices you can buy. The third sound effect is the exhaust note, which is rapturous and doesn't feel artificial in the way that something like a Mustang S550 does. This just feels proper, true, pure, and honest. These Hellcats start at around 80K, and this one here, $126,000. That's a far cry from the mid-40s you'd pay for a base V6. That said, you get a whole lot more car than you do in the base V6. Nicer appointments, more interesting cosmetics, bulging hood, and of course the rapturous power. You also get one more thing, which is wheel spin all the time. Whenever you want it, you can just spin them. They just go. It's great. But you pull out, you go easy while you've got the wheel turned, and then, oh goodness, that was traction on and it wanted to skirt around. Now, of course, we have to acknowledge there are a lot of people who don't like this car and don't like what it's about. Yes, it's a little bit unconscionably fuel hungry. Combined, you're looking at a rating of 15.3 liters per 100, which I have actually achieved. But that's not really the point of the car. The point of the car is to try to get that number as big as you can. And for all the hand-wringing about the wastefulness, I think it's worth acknowledging that very few of these cars are gonna see enough use to make a huge difference. These cars are collector's items right out the gate. This is a 2nd or 3rd or 8th car for a lot of people. What is it like accelerating in this? It really depends. Claim figures are in around the high 3s, but with all of that torque, it can be difficult to actually put it down effectively. In an effort partly to help, partly to amuse for other reasons, Dodge has in fact equipped this from factory with line lock. That means that you can lock just the front brakes and then spin those rears to get the tires up to temperature and gripping hard. Then launch control will try to manage that power for the most effective possible takeoff. According to the inbuilt timers, my best is about 4.1 seconds. But I also want to return this car with tires, so I haven't actually done the proper warm-up. Now, all of that might is well and good, but it wouldn't be a proper muscle car unless it had a few things that just made you, Now that's for a good reason. The whole spirit of the muscle car has always been, car with wow power, and this delivers. And to be sure, this is a nice cabin to take in warp speed from. The leather is surprisingly soft, and seat ventilation is a godsend on hot days like this. And there are nice extras too that you would not have had on one of your 70s muscle cars. Rain sensing wipers as standard? That's big by any measure. Weighing in at just under 5,500 pounds, this is no featherweight. And to be sure, it does handle like a car that weighs 5,500 pounds. Muscle cars have never been particularly renowned for their road holding, but I must grant that the Challenger does actually hold better than you'd anticipate. Particularly with the Widebody, which mounts 11-inch wide tires to those 20-inch wheels and a sport suspension setup, it actually takes the bumps and undulations without too much upset. Show it a corner, and it won't necessarily plow off ahead of you. If anything, the real challenge of this Challenger is tempering that right foot when you're feeding any steering input. Come time for a stop, and those 6-piston Brembo calipers with massive rotors give you a lot of stopping power. Then, just pick right back up. To get personal for a moment, I've not always been a fan of the Hellcats. I've long maligned them as downright dullardly instruments of entertainment. But, having spent some time with it, I am down to get in touch with my inner idiot. If anything, I'm a little disappointed it took me this long to open my mind to them, but you can just plant your foot. It's so good, it's so good, it's so good! Now to be sure, the future of Mopar muscle does look promising. Big, heavy EV platforms with low slung centers of gravity and oodles of torque right off the line, that is perfect for the strip. But it's not going to be the same without those screaming inductive V8s. There's just something about the idea of burning 40 liters of petrol for 100 kilometers of hooning that just, For Driving.ca, I'm El Alder. For more silly and sensible car news and reviews, be sure to follow us online at Driving.ca and check out our socials, Instagram and Twitter.